Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtoroot.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Yes, you should be making chaga part of your daily life forever. At least until we find some sane cure for this bioweapon. I think they're going to come out with more iterations of it as people come out of lockdown. The lockdown should never have been done. Yes, people, if you want to save lives, the people whose body couldn't take the bioweapon should have been on lockdown. You didn't have to destroy everything. And everything is destroyed. Make no... it should be clear to everybody that the jobs you will be going back to, if you're lucky enough to have one when you go back, will not be the same. Every single industry has been affected hugely by this. And we were a fragile system to start with. Only held together by massive manipulation still. But to go back to the old ways, never going to happen. Those days are gone. This is year zero, literally year zero. And they've got more shit to throw at us, I have no doubt. My plan is to harden yourself with chaga, the mushroom, the miracle mushroom, vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C, lots of it, zinc, vitamin D, C60, you got everything over here. Colloidal silver, you name it, you need to do it. Not only that, you need to harden your portfolio. If you have any investments at all, they got to be hard assets, as in your own possession. I would call cryptos one of the hardest assets out there. Why? Because they are limited in supply and you can hold them in your own possession. In your own possession, that no one else can touch them. The only problem with cryptos right now, I'd say there's two problems. Number one, the markets are manipulated massively because they don't trade real cryptos. It's completely fraudulent, fake, just like the COMEX, LBMA, stock market, you name it. It's the problem with our entire system is all the exchanges are vastly manipulated, 100 to 1, 1,000 to 1 sometimes. 1,000 times the underlying asset trades back and forth to rig the price. There are no limits on that. That's why Ted Butler's been screaming about position limits that the CFTC will never do, because their job is not to operate a fair market. Their job is to cover up for the manipulation. But hey, let's talk about silver. I do think we are approaching that point in time where we'll have $5 moves up. The supply is gone. Over half of all production right now is shut in, shut down. What are you going to do? There's no physical silver to be found under 20 bucks these days. I hear people buying silver eagles at 25, 30 bucks per ounce, if they can get their hands on it. Hey, if someone says, hey, I can get you some silver eagles for 20 bucks, it'll take 3 weeks. Don't believe them. Don't believe them. Because they don't know. Yes, the West Point Mint has started up again, but on limited production. Limited, meaning they can do whatever they want, and they will. So yes, I think silver has the least amount of downside available and the most amount of upside. Between cryptos, silver, and gold, silver has the least amount of downside and the most amount of upside. No, silver didn't trade down at $11.50 like the COMEX said. That's the crazy, that's like going negative with the crazy contracts on the oil. It's all a facade, it's all fake. And it's falling apart because people are starting to look at it and say, this isn't even real. These people just make these things up with computer programs. And that was Steve Mnuchin's job as the head of Goldman Sachs' IT department. He was the head of Goldman Sachs IT. Those are the guys that write the programs to rig the market. That's what he does for a living. It's what he's always done for a living. And lies through his teeth, along with Trump. Trump is lying through his teeth about market manipulation. He doesn't even talk about it. He says, screw you, I'm going to win if I have to cheat. That's what he does. He's a winner. Can you build a sound foundation, a sound monetary system, a sound global economic system off cheating? No, you can't. You can't, Mr. Trump. Sorry. Get all that other stuff you need to do out of the way because you need to start allowing the markets to trade freely. And I get why you're doing it. You're trying to buy time to arrest all these criminals, to put yourself in a position so that you control it all. And the guys behind the scenes can make their arrests, shut down the criminal syndicate and all that. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, they're releasing bioweapons. So they're going to release another one if you keep up this bullshit. If silver goes up to $30, you can kiss 8 of the top 10 banks goodbye. That's why it's got to be held down. But it is going to go up. It is going to break through the manipulation one way or the other. Either the COMEX will break down and shut down, which I think is probably likely, or it'll start to reflect true fair market value because you can't find any silver anywhere. You got to remember in 2011, JP Morgan allowed the price of silver to rise from $20 to $50 and then slammed it back down. They achieved that by putting their chief of staff for Obama was a JP Morgan SWAT team leader, a guy named Bill Daley. That was his only job, to control that silver market, because the silver market is the key to everything. Silver is the most undervalued asset in the history of mankind. If you can get your hands on some physical at any price now, do it. Mexico's shut down. South America's shut down. Any government on planet Earth that mines silver and exports silver should be hung for treason. Any people within government that export silver should be hung for treason. Why? Because silver is the future. Silver is a vastly scarce resource, absolutely necessary in all kinds of industrial applications, as well as a huge monetary history, longer than gold, as money. Silver has been used by money as money a hell of a lot longer than gold has been. Keep that in mind as we go forward, because silver has a dual use. That is why they keep the price at $15. 1/3 of its all-time high, when gold is double its all-time high in 1980, and then again in 2011. Was it 2009? I don't remember when gold hit $800 the next time and broke through. So since 1980, gold has been allowed to double, but silver is at 1/3 of the price because of the rig job. Why do I invest in a rigged market, you might ask? Because I know the end game. When this is all over and silver is allowed to trade freely, we're talking $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 silver each ounce, every single ounce. Because it's freely traded. You don't have 300 billion ounces traded every year. Excuse me. Yes, it's over 300 billion ounces on the COMEX, the LBMA, and the other pseudo exchanges. No, there's no physical exchange for silver on planet Earth. There is for gold. Shanghai pretty much is a physical market. But for silver, Shanghai only trades silver futures. It's insane. Get your silver today. As far as cryptos, yeah, they're doing great. They're being manipulated up. Wonderful. Tether controls it all, obviously. Look at the Tether volumes. $54 billion worth of Tether traded yesterday in the last 24 hours. $54 billion. Tether is controlled by the deep state, the Cabal, the crypto Cabal, as I call them. Will they win? I don't know. In cryptos, if you could take them out and take their cryptos, I'm sure we could adopt cryptos a lot faster. Now, Trump is talking about a slow integration of a digital wallet for the US dollar. We already have digital wallets for the US dollar. Everybody can buy things on their phone now. You're using Apple Card, using anything you want. The key to any cryptocurrency, if the US wants to implement that, is open source software, limited supply, immutable blockchain, all those good things we love about Bitcoin. So all those people are saying, no, the US government, all governments are going crypto. That's great, as long as the crypto has, if it's see-through, that's fine. Tell us how many they can create. If there's no limit, then why? There's no difference. If you have a blockchain with unlimited amount of coin creation, there's no difference than unbacked fiat money that they have right now. Who cares if it's on a digital format that you put on your phone? Open source software is key to that, so you know there's no backdoors that they could create another billion coins and not tell anybody. Same with immutability, so they can't go back and change the blockchain. Same with scarcity, obviously. There must be built-in scarcity, or it's just no different than a Federal Reserve note that they can create out of thin air with a click of a mouse. What's the difference between $100 billion and $1 trillion on an electronic format? One little tiny zero on a computer. That's the only difference. That's the insanity of unbacked fiat money that can be created into it. Stock market, Steve Mnuchin's doing his job. Keep it level, keep it steady. I wouldn't bet either way on the stock market or the bond market or the oil market. The only reason I bet on the silver market and on the crypto market is I can take it in my own possession. And that's the key. If you don't have it in your own possession, you don't own it. If you are holding your cryptos on Coinbase, they won't be around when the banks fail. It's kind of like taking your money out of the bank, but keeping it in your safe deposit box. You think you got it all stored away, but they have the key to the front door. And yes, safe deposit box have been drilled into countless times over the years, especially in times of chaos. Yes, the bank manager is not going to watch over your wealth while his family's starving. They're going to go in there and they're going to drill every box and pull it out, take it home. Sorry, we got robbed, and so did you. All right, let's talk about oil real quick. Oil extends recovery from sell-off, but concerns over glut lingers. Oil market has been exposed. The oil derivative market has been exposed. That's the COMEX. That's the main thing that you see. The WTI, West Texas crude, known as sweet crude, I believe. That is the key to all oil. There are many other oil derivatives all over the place, and different kinds of oil, products made from oil, plastics, and butane, and propane, and ethylene. You name it, there's a derivative 100 times for it. The oil and gas market is the largest derivative market on planet Earth, in my opinion. Nobody talks about it, but it's in the quadrillions. And they needed it to control the price, and now what's happening? That's all falling apart. Oil extended its recovery Monday, plunged below zero, but trading remains volatile. Of course it's not going to go below zero. It's not due. The contract's not due until the next month. All the rich, smart traders on Wall Street are going, oh my God, oil's so low and I don't have to deliver. They're not going to get out on time. The WSO, the oil ETF, which I'll talk about in a second, right here. The USO, sorry, I said W. The USO absolutely is a derivative ETF on oil that buys future contracts for rich, wealthy investors. And you can do it. It is traded on the stock market. This ETF is going to destroy any semblance of credibility on the COMEX. Why? Because they have to deliver. And literally, they take every month, this ETF controls 25% of the entire position on the COMEX. 25%. I'll guarantee you Steve Mnuchin and the head of the energy secretary, I should know his name, is talking to this fund and say, okay, what can we do? Why don't you load up and we'll take it off your hands. We'll find places to store it, or we'll even announce a force majeure so you don't have to deliver, but we'll keep the price up for another month. And these guys, the funniest thing about this ETF, they announce what they're going to do beforehand. It's required in the prospectus. They announce they're going to be selling all their holdings of that current month 2 weeks before the month expires, so they don't have to take delivery. So when is oil going to explode? 2 weeks before the 19th. Explode down. Because 25% has to be sold. It's insane. It is absolutely insane what's happening. And here's the volumes. Yes, yesterday went down about half, the volumes of crude oil. But the day before, we were up at 5 billion barrels of oil traded in one day. Remember, the U.S. uses 20 million of West Texas crude, WTI. But on the criminal CRIMEX, to rig the prices, they have to have massive amounts. 5 billion barrels traded yesterday. And then today, only about 2.5 billion barrels traded. And that is a monster, ridiculously high number. But that's the way everything's been financialized on our markets. Nothing is real anymore. It's crazy. Speaking of nothing real, coronavirus made America's biggest banks even bigger. Yes, the coronavirus is a real bioweapon. The bad guys, the way they went about it, locking us in, everybody, even people who are perfectly healthy, locking us in and holding us there, locking us in on the pretense of we need to flatten the curve because our hospitals need to catch up. And it would be a disaster if they got full and people couldn't be tended to. I get it. That's why we got locked up, right? That was the only reason 330 million people in the United States decided, yes, we're going to do that. But now what? None of the hospitals are full. They've all expanded capacity, but they still have us on lockdown. Oh, you don't want to kill people? Well, this thing is, everybody's going to get this thing. You're not going to stop it. Everybody's going to contract it in one way or the other, unless you lock yourself in a bubble, unless you don't see other human beings. So those people who are susceptible to it, yes, lock yourself away to extend whatever life you have left. But that was not why they said to go on lockdown. And now they're saying you have to stay on lockdown to save lives. No. That's not what you said, Mr. Government. You said we have to flatten the curve in order for hospitals to catch up so that they won't be overrun, and that's when the real deaths happen. Well, we've done it. Now everything should be open, and people who feel like they don't want to go outside, that's your choice. Don't go outside. Your government isn't here to tell you what to do to protect you from the evil thing called death. Death happens. If you want to fix this problem, number one, arrest the people who released the virus. Arrest the people who created the virus. And arrest the people who have perpetuated this idea that we have to stay on lockdown forever. That is no life. We probably have already destroyed the world as we know it, the global economic system. Was that the idea all along? To make people reliant upon the government for their monthly paycheck? It could have been. AOC's never been happier. We need to break out of the bullshit. And at least we'll have a fighting chance. If we go back to work today, at least we'll have a fighting chance to save part of the economy. I don't know. You guys, it's up to you to scream and shout and yell. Here's Mnuchin. Most if not all of the American economy should be reopened by summer's end. Who could go 6 months without working? What company can stay 6 months with expenses running but no revenue? Mnuchin is dreaming dragons if he thinks people are going to put up with this much longer. I give it a week. I think May 1st, most of America will say, screw this. It's either get out there and start making a living, or my family and my company and my job and my house, everything will be destroyed. We're going to hit a point where we have to stop listening to scientists, stop listening to the scientists who are paid by the left to keep us locked up to destroy the economy so Trump won't get elected again. That's part of the agenda. There's many agendas. Anyway, during an appearance on Fox Business News yesterday, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin says he expects most, if not all, of the American economy to reopen by the end of August. And what happens after the end of August? We get into the winter and we got a brand new coronavirus and we shut down again. And the lefty criminals get their way. Everybody's on the dole from the American Treasury. That is the only entity in the United States that can create money out of thin air. This thing ain't going to last till August. Because we, the people, won't last till August. I don't think we're going to last through May. I think May is the time when the people stand up, come outside of their house and say, screw it. I feel healthy. I'm taking my vitamin C and my chaga. That's what they should be yelling at people about. Harden your body. We're looking for the culprits who created this virus and released this virus. But in the meantime, you got to get out there and work. Harden your body for it. Lots of vitamin C to literally put iron gates around the cells of your body. It hardens the cell wall. And then chaga is gonna flush that shit right out. And all the other stuff. And zinc. We have to do it because we have to get out there to have a fighting chance. Martin Armstrong was right that we had a matter of weeks, and he wrote that letter a couple weeks ago. But no, we watch CNN, we watch Anderson Cooper say, oh, no, 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 don't you dare go outside. People might die. Do you really want to be responsible for people dying? You're not responsible for going out and living. You're not responsible if people die. If you have a deficient immune system, yes, stay in. I'm all for, hey, let's give those people some money to survive because this is a bioweapon, and let's pull it out of the money that these bioweapon creators have. Let's go to the crypto exchanges and confiscate all of Tether and Bitfinex and those guys' money, crypto money, and give it to the people who have to stay inside. There's an idea for you. Rabobank, you can stop the lockdown, but you won't go back to normal. You will not go back. That's about as true as it gets. People are going to see when they go back to work, it ain't the same. People won't be going out for dinner, not going to movies, not going to sporting events. All that money that was circulating is gone. It's over. It's sad to say that, but it is. You got to be realistic. And on the road to Ruta, yeah, it sucks that we're having a bioweapon was thrown in the middle of the transition. They should have pulled the plug a long time ago and started fresh. They decided to wait, and then we have what we have. So don't be expecting to go back to what you had. Tucker Carlson starting the movement. Carlson slams lockdowns as, quote, largest and most expensive experiment in human history. It's true. It's true. We didn't know what to do. They released this extremely deadly bioweapon. What are we supposed to do? Let's lock everybody down in the whole country so that our hospitals can catch up. Now our hospitals have caught up. Do you see anybody in those huge auditoriums and tinted facilities in New York? Still, there's nobody going in there. They haven't overflowed the hospitals. It's time to go back. And yes, they'll probably fill up, but we're ready for it. That was the reason we went on lockdown, to flatten the curve so the hospitals can catch up. Hospitals are ready for as many as we can throw at them. At least we would have a fighting chance if we get back to it. And here's just more proof. 565 Americans have lost their job for every COVID death. And it sucks to measure death versus the amount of jobs lost. But those are the two things we're dealing with. That was the reason everything shut down. Most of these people will never go back to work. Will be on the dole forever. That's how communism gets a grip, and socialism. You just keep an eye on AOC and her little crowd. They're loving every minute of it. And then there's the patriots and Americans who are running outside saying, and that's the thing, they're fighting for their companies, their businesses, they spent their whole lives building. And the government's saying, you have to watch it be destroyed before your very eyes. That is not the America I grew up in. That's what we got to fight against. Speaking of fighting against, this guy's a criminal. Why isn't he in jail? Why is he still talking? Why is he still out there? It's kind of JP Morgan in the silver market. Why is JP Morgan, with 6 traders up on RICO charges, allowed to trade, be the largest trader in silver, allowed to be the custodian of all the ETF silver from SLV, allowed to rig every other market out there? Why is Jamie Dimon allowed to walk freely in society? You get to Bill Gates. Clearly he was involved in this bioweapon. Clearly he was involved with pushing the vaccines to put other shit in our body to destroy us and to put us under their control forever. This guy needs to be thrown in jail and tried for his crimes. It'll happen. That's what all the Trump Q guys say. It'll happen. Trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. Is the plan to destroy every single job that people worked for so long? All their careers, their small businesses, their large businesses? If that was the plan, you should have told us that was the plan. We wouldn't have supported you, Q. The plan got thrown because it took so long, the plan got thrown a curveball and boom, everything's gone. The plan has to change now. Now we have to prepare for a world where half the population in the United States is on the the corporate government dole. That changes everything. Should have pulled the plug right away and restarted right away. In my opinion, in the road to Ruta theory, that's what happens. Because they waited so long, boom, we got a bioweapon, and boom, everything. Anyway, that's your, everybody's, not everybody. A few people are emailing me, Bix, come on, be positive, be positive. I'm being realistic. The road to Ruta theory was very realistic, and it still is. We can make these changes. We can move forward in a positive light. We have not chosen to do so. That's what I'm screaming about. We chose to delay it and push it off because the ramifications of shutting down the economy were just too big. Well, now it's forced upon us, and the bad guys are taking hold. We need to kick the bad guys out. We need to walk outside of our door. That's the road to Ruta theory. The road to Ruta theory is all about the individual taking charge and not the government. We will see what happens. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.
Here's a true story about a man just like you. He worked his whole life, he was honest and true. Built up a nest egg the way they said to. Invest in the market, money works for you. And everything is fine, picking the winners every time. Started to believe he can make dollars out of dime. Little did he know he's being primed for a fall. The riggers let you play, then the riggers steal the ball. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. Got to shut down exchanges, trade one for one. We want free markets, well, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. Capitalism, not as bad as they say. The world has never tried it, rigging markets every day. Socialists fail every time in every way. Need a better system to forge a better day. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Solution, if only done right. We can take out the liars, bring dark into light, and trust in the math, not the people who lie. I think we can make it if we give it a try. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. 'Cause free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Free markets or the road to freedom.